And my thing is, I'm always a person to question something.
Well, brother, I need to step in here because because for one thing, you are spewing a narrative that sounds very suspect, because FBAs have never said anything about that certain people are not black.
Might have to drop a dime on them niggas.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta stop it.
I don't like that shit.
For sure, bro.
I don't like that shit.
And I'm not a person. I'm telling you, this is the way it was introduced to me. You have to be, or you're not one of us. And I'm more of the person that I don't go where I'm supposed to go just because everyone says I'm supposed to go.
I feel you on that. But one last question to you. Because you were kind of vague on your background, and then you came back and you said, okay, you're people from here and you were from there. But that vagueness is why the panel is questioning you. I mean, no problem with that. But you should have been up front in the very beginning. If you can't say that your people were from Alabama and that's your grandparents, your great grandparents, and your mother's side from St. Louis, etc., then you were being vague on purpose to deceive the panel.
What I was originally asked was, and this was by Brother Water Guy. He said, "Where you from?" I said, "I'm from Detroit, Michigan." Then it was later asked. Then it was later asked, "Where's my grandparents from?" That was from the brother in the baseball cap. But I answer questions the way it's given to me, not the way that a lot of people want me to answer them.
Look here. You were being vague. You understood the conversation. You had been listening to the panel. You were being vague and disingenuous. All right. And with respect to either you're in the group or you're not in the group, no FBA is saying you're not in the group. What if your lineage goes back to chattel slavery in this country, you are FBA, regardless of whether you say you're a Black Panther, Israelite, or whatever you want to call yourself.
Hell no, not an Israelite.
I'm not. I'm just giving you an example. If your lineage goes back there, you are what we consider foundational Black American. That's all I wanted to say, because I just don't feel you, man. I just don't feel you.
That's cool. But see, this is one of the biggest problems I've always had all my life. I asked too many questions.
Well, he did say he understand a little bit clearer now where this Foundation Black American stuff is talking. Yeah. He did say he understands a little bit better.
What we got to do. We got to make people understand.
But let me say this. When I was coming out of law school, I went over to John Conyers' office. Right, I knew John Conyers because he grew up
from Detroit.
What up, dope?
What high school you go to?
Henry Ford.
Oh, okay, that explains a lot.
No,
that explains a lot.
You on here, man. Go ahead, Pop.
Now,
what your family from east or west?
West.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, my father was born in Detroit. Right. My people are South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia, and that's all you had to be clear about. All right, but when you say, you ask these questions, I'll give you my background. All right. My people were Democrats. I broke the rule because when I went to John Conyers' office, he was playing games and the people in his office didn't respect him. I got upset. I became a Republican, but I became a Republican before then, really, because of what happened in '68 with Lyndon Johnson and the fact that they were kicking out the men of the household in order to get welfare.
Absolutely.
All right. So I don't understand when you say you have to ask all these questions. Historically, it's all there. I'm an independent now.
So, and I said this earlier. In 2008, I voted for Barack because he was Black. I admit to that. In 2009, when I joined the United States military, that's when I really started asking more questions and started doing more research. The biggest thing that really got me away from the Democratic Party was I brought home more boxes and flags than I ever want to count. And when I remember Barack Obama saying we're going to bring our soldiers home, and I brought them home in boxes, it pissed me off. Then I go back to my family. I'm asking all these questions about the Democratic Party and why it is that black people have been toe tagged to the Democratic Party. The thing I was told was that's just the black way. That's bullshit to me.
I understand you, and I feel you there. I'm with you there. There's a lot of people on the panel that are with you there. So all right. I hope the panel has schooled you. That's all.
I'm not FBI. I just got a lot of respect for people in FBA because y'all drag on the fight, and I have nothing against that. But when it comes down to it, even when we talk about reparations, we look at those who was responsible for putting out the field order. We look at those who were responsible who took it back. We look at those who are responsible for Jim Crow, KKK, and all this, that, and the other. Everything that has been done to black people since 1619, when the very first slaves arrived in America to be sold, not since 1528, when they arrived as visitors. Everything that has been done to black people has been done by the Southern Democratic white racist party. And now here we are in 2025, and they are turning that whole entire goal around. So to answer your question, get to your point, Jasmine Crockett sitting up here talking about for the illegals, for the Mexicans. Again, what about us as black people? You're still not doing anything. You're still not speaking up. And what they did was they brought in all of these illegals and they bust them into these low income neighborhoods. They put them behind black people. Yeah. And then the white liberals came from the suburbs to protest with the black people. But when it's time for action to go down, the white people get to run back to their suburbs, and the black people got to be standing there fighting for the illegals. It doesn't make sense.
Right. I got one more question for you.
Sure.
Where will we go from here? I know you said you're not for reparations, but where do we go from here if you was the president of Black America, and where would you go as far as getting us together? What would be your strategy?
Stop integrating. Stop. You know what? There's I call them the small hats because of term of services on YouTube, can't talk about those group of people, but that group of people, the small hats, what they do, they participate in this thing called nepotism. They buy small hat, they participate in small hat, they do business in small hat, they get money from everyone else, but they spend it with themselves. That's the way it needs to be in the black community. We need to stop funneling out and selling out our culture and our people just for someone else's dollar and not be willing to spend that same dollar and circulate it within our community. That's the number one thing we got to do. We got to focus on building our foundations and strengthening our communities, getting our children educated, teaching them our culture and our heritage, which was stolen and taken away from us.
Facts. I'm with you on that. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. I know the chat screaming reparations too, but yeah, man. I got Ursa. Oh, Corey, man. Y'all want to back anything he said? We had the brother coming on talking about Black liberation.
Hey. This is Miss Ursa. How are you?
Great.
How you doing?
Happy to see you on. Give us
hey, brothers. Good to be here. Well, I'm FBA all the way. So, but okay. My thing is that, because the brother was saying about the 60s, but where we come from and all of the trials and tribulations that we went through during enslavement, we did not know that our own party was going to backstab us like they have. But I am glad, I'm very happy that now we are seeing with our own two eyes what I have been talking about, but I was called a xenophobic and all this Archie Bunker. But I remember when Hispanics first started coming to Wisconsin, I was working for social services. I was doing SNAP and food stamps, Medicaid and all that. And they hired people that spoke Spanish, and this one Spanish lady, me and her was friends. She said, y'all better start speaking Spanish because we taking over. I remember how they bent over backwards for these people. And so getting back to what the brother was saying, but we did not know. But now, see, Jasmine Crockett got to show her true face. She got just like now, she talked about our sister girl and stuff last year, right? And now we see, but we always knew that the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, which was supposed to be working for us, we saw us as FBAs did. That's why I'm with the movement, and I do call it a movement. We saw that. That's why we started talking against these people. They are the immigration caucus. They are not for us, but she got to show her face. And so you see that she's crashing out for these Latinos, but she can't hide. She can't hide today. Okay, I land my plane on that.
All right, Miss Urs. All right, Miss Urs. Corey, man, I got you in. You want to rebuttal anything the brother had to say?
Yeah, I want to ask where the dude that was just talking, where are you from, bro?
Detroit, Michigan.
You said you're not FBA?
No, sir.
You're Caribbean, you're African. What's your origin?
No. I was born and raised here in America. It's just I'm not from, like, I don't have, like, my genealogy and my biology is not from, like, outside of America.
Okay, so the reason that I'm asking is because a lot of your talking points are not really, it's a little bit more right wing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you talk about the Southern Democrats and all that type of stuff. I guess my first question would be, like, why are you against reparations?
So the ideal of reparations is workable, but I think it needs to be directed in a different way, right? Now, I can get with the whole plan of those was promised and furloughed, they need to be paid back. And not only do they need to be paid back, it needs to be a higher percentage rate is on it because they have been delayed, right? I think the way that they have been trying to go about getting it done has been the wrong way. So I'm a person who goes along with the plan if the plan sounds workable. Right now, with everything that I've been saying about the fight for reparations, it's just been, and I could be wrong about this, but because I haven't studied it for years and years, but I've seen it to where it's just people yelling at the sky saying, hey, we want reparations for this. And I'm like, all right, who do you want reparations from? Okay, from white people or from the government or from this group of people or from this political party. It's just like, okay, well, do we understand who made that promise to Black enslaved peoples? And it's like, okay, so now that we understand that, what are we calling for? Reparations in what form? In a monetary way, an educational way, and what are we calling for? Are we calling for the land? Okay, so let's go back to the land thing. Even when Abraham Lincoln took the land back and tried to put everybody over, and I believe it was Syria or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, or Siberia, whatever one it is.
Liberia?
Yeah.
Liberia, there it is. So all of that sounds great, but this is I was born in 1989. This is my problem. I have been watching Black people fight for everybody else except ourselves. When it came down to the Rainbow Coalition and the Brigade of Gay Frogs, Black people stood out in front and said that they want to defend them. When it came down,
let me stop you there. Let me just stop you there, just so I can get an opportunity to respond.
Yeah.
Number one, so your lineage is questionable, right? Because you haven't confirmed where your family originated from. So that's number one. Number two, when we talk about reparations, it's not we're looking for reparations from white people. And I say this with all due respect. I can be a little sharp sometimes, but I'm not trying to disrespect you, but I got to be honest. We're not looking for reparations from white people. We have an issue with the government because we're talking about a system of laws that was codified into law, right? Like we're talking about specific structures. We're not talking about, see, the problem is I notice a lot of people from outside America tend to deify white people. And a lot of people make it seem like they have more agency than they actually do, but they don't. They're just individuals in a system that benefits them, right? So basically what I'm saying is reparations is a debt that is owed from the government to Black Americans specifically, meaning people who can trace their lineage back at least to the first census of 1790. So that answers your question right there. It's the specific group of Black people who've been in America that didn't come after 1964, where the Civil Rights Acts were passed and immigration was opened up to more Blacks. Right. So because when we talk about Black people in America, we're not talking about Nigerians. We're not talking about Ghanaians. We're not talking about people from the Caribbean. We're talking about people with a specific lineage that goes back. Right. The people who created jazz, who created ragtime, who created swing. You understand? The people that created the drum machine, just to talk about the entertainment side of the game. The first graffiti artists, the first hip hop art, one of the most influential groups of people on the planet. So when we talk about Black people, we talk about flat Blackness. I think we do a major disservice. Not to shit on these other groups of Black people. I mean, I have my personal reservations, but it's about Black Americans specifically, the specific lineage of people. And it's not just for slavery, right? It's for redlining. It's for Jim Crow. It's for many things, many
yeah.
For the war on drugs, many things, right? You know, many things, destabilizing other nations using the money that they got from destabilizing our nation, right, within America. So that's what we're talking about. And a Nigerian person who got here in the 80s or the 90s, they don't have that history. They have history with the British and colonization with the British and with the Indians and all that kind of stuff. So they would have to deal with that over there. So that's number one. As far as people are just yelling in the sky and asking for reparations, no, there's organization that's happening. And the first step is delineation. So no more conversations about flat blackness. We have to be more specific as to what group of black people are we referring to. I'm saying we're referring to the people that Lewis Latimer, Benjamin Banneker, George Washington Carver, some of these people. I'm not talking about Fela Kuti and Kwame Nkrumah and Patrice Lumumba and Frantz Fanon. These are other people from other places. So I think we got to be a little bit more specific when we talk about, when we have these conversations, right? Because in World War II, right, when Americans was over there fighting to free Jewish people or whoever, whatever the case may be, to end the threat of Nazi Germany, who white Americans initially supported and funded, people like Henry Ford and a lot of the robber barons and industrialists, those people, the black men that went over there, the Harlem Hellfighters, people, those are black Americans. These are not Nigerian. Now, you did have some Nigerians and some Africans and non-black Americans fight, but those were in the French Foreign Legion. Again, no connection to America. Were we allied? Sure. But again, they were provisioned by Europeans. Okay, so Africans have a closer relationship with Europeans, right? So that's just to answer your question. And I just want to say in closing, it's not just about slavery. Slavery is a huge part of it. Slavery is the number one industry in America. War on drugs, and slavery by another name, also known as convict leasing, redlining, and many other things. But these things are harms that are specific to Black American people who can trace their lineage back. And then many Native American people who are reclassified as Black, free Black people. Definitely there were some Africans involved in that. If you look into the research, about 3 to 4% of the Middle Passage, those people came to America. 3 to 4%. That's roughly, if we're going on the higher end of the scale, we could say 500,000 people. But right now in 2025, we're a population of roughly 43 to 50 million people. So again, that's a distinction that has to be made. We can't keep having these conversations about flat blackness. That's the first step. We can't keep having these conversations and just Black people. And we got to stop having these conversations about the small acts. And I'm laying my plane. I'm gonna let you just give me
can I piggyback off of
let me wrap up and then I'll let you guys have the floor. Just give me like a minute, 30 seconds. This conversation about like the small hats and what the Jews are doing and the Zionists and this and that has nothing to do with us. Like when people come in and they start talking about that, that's white ethnic group infighting. So when I see a Black person who starts to involve themselves in that, I'm like, wait a minute, you're probably not one of us, because the white ethnic group infighting has been happening since the Irish, the Italians, and all these other people were allowed to come to the United States during the early 19th century with the whole Ellis Island thing. So I think a lot of people need to learn American history, because frankly, we can tell when you're not one of us because you don't know the history. And I'm not saying that to people, but I land a plane.
No, I have nothing against that. It's just that, so for me to follow something, I have to be researched on it. I have to be studied on it, right? And it can't be a directed narrative, because the way I was introduced to it is that if you're not FBA, then you're not a true Black. And my thing is, I'm always a person to question something.
Well, brother, I need to step in here because because for one thing, you are spewing a narrative that sounds very suspect, because FBAs have never said anything about that certain people are not Black, for one thing. So that's and then when you say that you study this and that, if you really study reparations, you would know that reparations is also tied into the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment, because those were specifically for descendants of enslaved people. But when people say, well, no, they shouldn't get it because I wasn't here, or blah blah blah, but they benefit from the 13th, 14th and 15th Amendment. So if they don't want to give us reparations, then they should not benefit from that. But they also should not benefit from the desegregation of the military that we did. And Truman passed it because blacks demanded it. And also the Civil Rights Bill, which equal housing, equal education, bilingual education. So if people do not want to pay us reparations, then we need to take all of that back. So when you talk about history, then we shouldn't be giving up none of our rights that we fought and died for. I'll land my plane.
Gotcha. And this is where, and the reason I said that the person who taught it, usually when people are radicalizing the idea and they just want people to, when they want you to just join something, they won't give you the full story and the full scope. You see what I'm saying? Like this is why I left the Democratic Party in 2008 after I voted for Obama. In 2009, when I joined the United States military, I started doing research and I was like, well, wait, both parties are at fault. And when it comes to how black people have been treated in America, right? Both parties have done wrongs to black people. And the way I look at it is this, until I get a full scope and understanding on something that I either want to be a part of or have interest in, that's when I'll consider like joining that movement or something like that. But what I've been looking at is that since the 60s, there have been a multitude of fights that have been brought forth for black people, for people of melanin color in this country. But every time something comes up or arises that has to do with anything outside of melanated people, that fight is what gets the attention. And then I look at how it is that people have been coming up within this country since I've been born, is that they've been steering towards everything except black excellency. That's my problem. And what we do is we promote the worst of us just to put them at the top so that we can say that that's black excellency. And I don't see how that's a good thing.
Right. I don't think it's a matter of like who's.
Go ahead.
What I respond? I don't think it's a matter of. I hear what you're saying, bro, and I respect what you're saying. Much respect to your service as a veteran. I'm a veteran too, but I think that what you're saying is like these are like talking points. These are like narratives, right? It's not really. It's not really, an organic conclusion that you've, and again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, so please don't take us Caribbean brothers. I'm not sure what area of the United States you reside in, but again, like when you talk about black people in America,
Detroit, Michigan.
Okay, yeah, you did say that earlier, my bad. Yeah. But when you talk about black people in America, you're talking about a specific group of people. Like we have to really, again, and I know you got a lot of people that's not FBA take it as disrespect for whatever reason. But history is history, right? Like I could never go to West Africa and tell people, well, Black Americans did this and did like I couldn't even go to Liberia, right, or Sierra Leone, which are both American colonies essentially in origin, and tell them about their history or try to use a flat blackness. It's like, no, you got to be specific. It's Sierra Leone, and then underneath that, there's tribes and different ethnic groups, right? They have different languages. So it's like when America, we have allowed this race thing, this obsession with race, to make it so that there's this flat blackness concept. We can't have a conversation about politics, history, if people don't understand that black people have separate lineages. We have separate histories. Okay, and truth be told, in Africa, because I've been to Africa, I just got back from Africa. Truth be told, the concept of blackness is not a thing in Africa, and many Africans will admit this. There is no black in Africa. I'm a Kikuyu, and you're a Luo. I'm a Luya, and you're a Hausa. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's only when these people start coming to America, now it's like, okay, well, we see that black people are black, because let's be honest, America is the best place to be a black person, period, bar none. Is it perfect? Yeah. No. But a lot of people is trying to come over here and pretend to be us. So that's the first step. The first step is, no, we're like, people got to stop pretending to be us. The flat blackness thing, that has to stop.
My bad. Go ahead. No, my thing is like, and I've had these hard conversations, and people say, well, we got to stop accepting them. My thing is, but you opened up the doors to them in more ways than one. When it comes down to our music industry, we the ones that sold out our masters. We sold out our records so we can get a music deal. When it come down to going against each other as black people, we sold out to the white man. We sold out to all these different groups of people. There was not a hard stop on, we're not going to deal with anyone else
Well, you know
than
what,
us.
but brother,
Mhm.
that you're not telling the truth. Everybody sold out their masters. Ray Charles was the first one to get his own masters before
Gotcha.
White. He was the first one. So when
Mhm.
you're talking about, he was the first one. So you
Gotcha.
know, so don't be degrading us like
I'm not.
we.
I'm not
But
degrading.
no, you are.
I'm
Yes, you
not.
are, brother. You
No,
are.
I'm not.
No, because everything that you have said the last 2 minutes has
Uh-huh.
been against our history. I'll land my plane.
I'm not speaking
Right.
against the history. I just think
Right.
that just like with all other groups of people, when you have people who are extremists or radicalists and they don't give the full history and they tell their history incorrectly just because they want to recruit people, then everyone needs to be on the same goal.
Right.
Well,
Check this
again,
out though.
all right, go ahead.
You from Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Now in Detroit, do you know about the Black Panther Party? You heard about,
Absolutely.
things
My
that
father
Black
was a
Panther-
Black Panther. Yeah. My
Your
father
father
was
was
a
a
Black
Black Panther.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say the Black Panther was in your time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you and you heard about what was going on with the Black Panthers? Would you have to like get more information, or would you be like, man, this is I hear what they saying and it resonates with me and I'm finna ride with this. Would you?
Absolutely. Yeah, with the Black Panthers, yes. But because the thing was, the way I look at the Black Panther, the way I was raised on how the Black Panthers moves, it was a hard stop against all other races. It was all about just making sure that we're taken care of first, that we are the first priority when it comes to this whole entire community and this unity. So yeah, when it comes to that, yeah, I
would have jumped on that.
jumped. Yeah.
Right. So what about FBA that you hear that you feel like is something that is not a movement, or is it? It isn't that same kind of energy. Like, how do you not,
I think it's because I was introduced to it to the wrong way. Like the same way, and I've had this argument with a family member of mine. They're NOI, and he was trying to get me to really like understand the NOI. And then I had another family member that was trying to get me to understand the Nation of God's Herbs, the 5%ers. And I'm just like, y'all have to really introduce me to this the right way and not a radical way. Because the moment you say, like, we having this conversation right now, and if I can't remember the brother's name that's 2 spots below me, the way he's talking, I can listen to him because he's actually breaking down the history, giving historical facts and all this, that, and the other. Now that's nothing against the sister, but if you're going to come at someone radically and say, no, you talking against us, I'm not talking against you, I'm just trying to gain understanding. That's the type of energy that I was getting when I was first introduced to FBA. Right. And when I started asking questions about it, it's because, since I'm already not FBA, I'm a tether, I'm an outsider. And I was like, all right, cool, great, no problem. Then y'all got it. I still respect it, but y'all got it.
But think about this. So I want you to think about this. You said that you was a supporter of the Black Panthers, right? If you know about that story, you know about William O'Neill.
Absolutely.
You know who William O'Neill is?
Yeah.
Right. So it was a lot of cosplaying, and it was a lot of COINTELPRO that went into that, right? In a lot of our movements. So how we feel right now as Black people, we have a lot of people that have always backstabbed us. So right now, we're not dealing with, fence straddlers. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we have a history of people, turning us in, or, just stopping our liberation. So we have this, I think you taking that as far as like, we're tired of people playing in our face. You get what I'm saying? It's not like personally against you. It's a lot of people that play and they not standing on real business for real.
Yeah.
So, and the same thing with the Panthers. Like, if you don't know, they made the Black Panthers out to be a radical group. They let, it's people now that say that they, kind of like the KKK, the opposite. So we feel like the white supremacist media is going to always try to push a narrative that anything progression that we got going on as FBA or Black people.
To have a community, you must have 3 things to have a community in it. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can provide goods, service, products, and things for your own people, and jobs and tax bases for your own people. You should at least control 4 basic things You should be trying to control water, food, medicine, and energy to be able to survive and compete.
Here we got Mr. Pollock. He had a cornfield. He took advantage of a free water test from us, and this is what we found in this water. We found sulfur, we found hardness, and we solved these problems with an easy fix of 2 tanks. So get your free water test today. Stay blessed. Click the link below.